Hello, everybody. Welcome to WTF, and that is what the fixed ops. Glad you could join us today. I am honored to have next to me Miss Charity Dunning, who's our Chief Marketing Officer, and we have an extremely special guest. I'm going to announce him anyway, even though everybody already knows him, Mr. Dave Foy. Dave Foy, welcome to our show today.
Welcome, Dave.
Thank you so much. I am psyched to be here, and especially following a week where I got to finally meet you both in person. It's an honor to be with you.
I know. Wasn't that exciting?
It really was.
It really was.
It was wonderful to meet you in person.
Thank you.
So I heard that, I was thinking because of the pandemic that, everybody was pent up and everybody be coming out to NADA, but I understand really there was about 10,000 less people than they actually expected, although it turned out to be really good for us. Did you hear that or no?
It was my first time at NADA, so I had nothing to base that on. It seemed like a whole lot of people there to me.
Yeah, it did.
But yeah, I heard the same thing was that attendance was down.
Well, it's okay. We'll make it up the next time. I'm looking forward to the next one because it's in my stomping grounds in Dallas, Texas. So
there you go.
I'm looking forward to that. So let's do this, Dave. Tell us who Dave Foy is. Tell us what most people don't know about you.
Wow, what most people don't know about me. I've been pretty open. I don't know if there's much people don't know about me, but I live in the little town of Leicester in Massachusetts, and other than probably a total of 2 years in my 53, I have lived outside of Leicester. But those have both been towns surrounding this little town. So that may be something that people don't know, is I have not really left this little area. Although I will tell you, the winters over the past couple of years as I've gotten older have definitely made me decide to move somewhere warmer in the next few years. So
you're known pretty far and wide for being in a small town.
Yeah. I've LinkedIn lets you go places that even from a small town. So I've been grateful to meet all the people that I've gotten to meet along the way through social media. People can say what they want about it. You can make it for positive if that's what you choose to use it for. I know that wasn't the question. I took a
no, that's okay. That's fine.
I took an off ramp there. I don't think really there's anything else that anybody doesn't know about me, Russell. So
okay, all right. How about this? How about your automotive history? How did you get started? Tell us a little bit about your history in automotive.
All right. So I originally in high school, being the stellar student that I was. And that is definitely sarcastic. I was actually signed up into a new field called computer technology. This was in 1987. Wow. And I was going to learn how to repair computers, right? These massive computers that businesses were starting to run on. My dad was the dean of buildings and grounds at the college where I was going to go. And he had the utmost faith in my math ability and said, there's a lot of math in that computer program. maybe you should take a look at a new program that Ford has coming into the school called the Asset Program. Huh. So I went and watched their presentation, and they showed some really cool guys in lab coats doing diagnosis on the computers that were being put in cars back then. And I said, wow, this looks like fun. I want to go do this instead. And that is literally how I wound up working on cars instead of computers.
Interesting.
And I've never worn a lab coat.
Yeah.
Right. It made you feel like you were a doctor or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. That's how they made it feel. It's definitely not how it turned out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Except there are computers in cars these days.
Yes, sir.
A lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for sharing that. You know, I was looking at something, the social media stuff. It's really connected us all in the last couple of years in a way that is no one ever could have predicted. And it was so great to officially meet you, even though we spend at least once a week together for the last year or so. Right. But it's been a great connection. And I mean, you can get sucked into some real negative stuff, or you can choose to stay in your lane and focus on the positive stuff. You know, this morning I was reading something. I would have to say it probably wasn't Albert Einstein, but the consensus of what I read was there's these 9 bullet points. He's doing math, you know, 9 times 0, 9 times 1, all the way up to, you know, 9 times 10. And the last one he got wrong, or supposedly, and said 91. And he was in a class full of people, and they all started laughing and ribbing him about, you know, being the mathematician he is, actually missing that by 1 digit and getting it wrong. And the moral was, which I found pretty interesting, is that nobody focused on the 8 answers that he got right before that. All they did is laugh and berate him, focusing on the 1 answer he got wrong. And I see that happen a lot in social media. And I just found it kind of interesting. It can be used. It's a very, very powerful force. It can be used in positive ways or negative ways. Do you find the same thing as well, or?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know where I saw that post, but in the last couple of days, I saw that same post and
social media, baby.
Yeah, exactly. It struck me also, right? And what it made me think of, Russell, was when Russ Mann started the 22 push-up challenge for veterans awareness. And as people started doing that, myself included, people started making comments about your form in doing these push-ups, right? That your form was awful, and you know that you weren't doing it right, and all this stuff, and totally missing the message, right? So those 9 problems above it that Einstein got right, they missed, and got the one that he got wrong, and they missed the message of bringing awareness to veterans that need help, rather than the fact that I didn't do 22 push-ups properly.
Yeah,
right.
That's horrible. I also participated in that as well. And I was real conscious of that at first, because I'm fixing it. Well, next month I'll be 63. And so I'm thinking, do you still have it? Can you still do 22 push-ups the right way? So I fudged a little bit but I kept my form right. Nobody said anything, but there was a couple of things that I saw where that was really bad. You know, they just missed the whole meaning. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. That's the nature of social media, unfortunately.
It is.
Because that sort of messaging gets more views. So it kind of encourages it in a way.
So I got to tell you, in the last, I forgot exactly the details on how we met, but FixedOPS Mastermind is no doubt, arguably, how people know you best. Tell us the history of how you founded that show, because it was a pivoting point in my life and in our company.
Yeah.
Yeah. So originally, when I thought about putting this together, I was originally doing it for service advisors and technicians to be able to have a way to create a path into leadership. And as many of us through automotive know, we came up through the school of hard knocks, right? We learned everything the hard way, and it's just not necessary. And especially in this time of virtual access to people and things, there's no need for anybody to struggle to get the knowledge that they need to succeed anymore. And so that was my reason for creating it, was to help advisors and technicians find the knowledge that they needed to make their lives easier and success in their career more attainable. What was interesting was, as I started putting it out there and talking about it, and opened up the signups for it, not one advisor or technician signed up for it. It was all leaders in the industry that signed up for it. And I had conversations with Ted Ings and with my wife, like, I got guys signing up that are running 15 and 20 car groups here. What am I going to teach them? Right. That's not what the purpose of this was. And so we had to kind of shift where the original mission was, got shifted into we can still help advisors and techs, but we can help it by giving leaders the tools that they need to help their own advisors and techs. So rather than being able to directly affect them, I can indirectly affect them by reaching out to the leaders.
Absolutely.
And it's just, it's turned into such an amazing community. And I love seeing the other communities that have sprouted up around it. Joe and Eric would Service Drive Live.
Yes.
You know, that's, I love seeing those things come out of it, right? That's just, it's more reach that we can get out there. They're reaching people that I wasn't reaching. They're talking about things I don't talk about. It's such an amazing community to watch grow.
Yeah. So you get the PM and they get the AM.
Oh, they get the AM. All right.
Well, that's an excellent pivot, Dave.
Yes, it is.
And more recently, you've joined Quantum 5. Will you tell us a little bit about that?
Please, yes.
Yeah. Again, in my myself and Sean Welsh have always said that we're here to leave the automotive industry a little better than we found it. And that was why I wanted to help advisors and techs. Quantum gives me that opportunity to help even more advisors, technicians, leaders, right? So I was helping people within the stores that I worked at. I was helping people with the mastermind, and now going into Quantum, you know, you get into more and more stores, you get to see more and more people, and have more of an effect on the industry. And that's really what it's all about. Quantum is such a cool company with the sustainment of the learning that we're providing to people, with the really cool app that just got its upgrade right before NADA. It's providing me personally that path to help more people. You know, and originally I had told Dave O'Brien that I wasn't going to come because I wanted to continue to grow the mastermind. And I had the vision and values training program that I was doing, or coaching program. And, you know, Dave came back and said, tell me what your vision is for that. And the vision of what I had for where the mastermind grew to, and the vision of where Quantum grows to, and how Quantum uses community managers and community architects. And it was all part of, as the mastermind grew to grow into different groups and have leaders in each group. It was almost the same blueprint. It was amazing. It was almost exactly the same thing. So then we came back together and said, okay, so if the mastermind lives on and becomes part of Quantum 5, then let's do this and let's grow it.
You mentioned something a minute ago, and I already had a brain fart and forgot the word, but I know where you were going with it. So I started in this business in 1985, and trainers come and go. And they come in, road to the sale, whatever it is, you know, they get, you know, really enthusiastic, and they pump you up and excited, and they got all kinds of stuff, and then they leave. And then the next day it goes back to what it was. You alluded to, I really believe, and what I'm so pumped up and fired up about Quantum 5, the mastermind, and everything that you and the team is doing, is it continue. It doesn't stop when you leave. And there's a huge paradigm shift, I believe, going on. And I think a lot of people don't know what that actually means, but those are rules and regulations that establish the boundaries in which we live by. So things are changing. It's not the status quo of what it once was. You come in, you have a process for what you go through, but it doesn't end when you leave. It is ongoing. Did I get that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I like to affectionately call the old model was the teach and reach, right? They came in, they taught the class, and then they put their hand out and reached for a check, right? So that was that was the teach and reach method. And then they would leave and come back, and that's not meant to be offensive to anybody. That's what the model was. That's what was there, right? Yeah. It's like getting mad at horses when they were the means of transportation for pooping on the road. It's just what they did, right? Yeah. It's what was available to everybody.
That's right.
But that has changed now, and that's not what, as people look around and they try to figure out how to keep their teams engaged, and as people start to talk about retention is the new hiring, right? With keeping your people, right?
Right.
Keeping your team,
Yeah.
not just letting somebody go and then go and getting somebody else. All of that is predicated on taking care of them and providing them value. And if we're not learning, then we're not growing, right? So you
true.
can't expect your team to continue to grow, to continue to do better, to continue to increase gross profits like you want if you're not providing them with something to grow also. And that's what we're looking to provide, is that continued education. We create for the app 1,000 new pieces of content every month. So
Wow.
there is, so you're not doing the same thing over and over again. We're also not doing long courses like OEMs and other trainers have done. There's no 45-minute courses that you're sitting through. It's all 30 seconds to a minute and 10 seconds.
Interesting.
Yeah. A minute and 10 seconds that you watch a video, listen to a phone call, read some text, read some emails. We hit in-person communications, we hit text communications, email communications with all different personality types, and just teach you skills, right? We're not here to change your processes. We want to work within the process that you have, because I told you at the beginning of the show, I've lived in the center of Massachusetts my whole life. I can't tell you how to sell a car or how to deal with your customer in the middle of Montana. I don't know. Right.
Yeah.
I don't. So your process is your process. What I can tell you is a human being is a human being, and I can teach you how to deal with that human being.
So for those that don't know, Dave, what is Quantum 5 all about?
So Quantum 5 is about what I just said. It's about dealing with human beings. It's about gaining skills, understanding personality styles, and understanding your own personality style. So that you can learn how to adapt to each person that you're talking to. It's helpful as an advisor, right? Advisors have been taught to ask questions of customers.
Right.
They've been taught that you ask two types of questions, right? An open-ended question or a closed-ended question. That's great. That gets you some technical information from the customer. But what did you learn about the customer as you asked those questions? Did you learn what that customer values? If you're asking the customer, when does it make the noise? And that customer is telling you, well, when I've got my 3 little ones in the back and 2 of them are still in car seats, and I go over the bump on my way to the playground, and they're like, Daddy, what's that noise? Right? What did I learn about that? I heard, okay, when he goes over a bump in the playground, and I might go, okay, was it a bump where the tire went down, or was it a speed bump type of thing? But what I should be listening for is, I had my 3 kids in the back,
Right.
2 of them still in car seats, and we're on our way to the playground, right? So I have a dad who's got 3 kids. He's obviously pretty busy, but he's an engaged dad taking his kids to the playground.
Yep.
Right? I need to know what drives him. So when I make that call as a service advisor, after we've gotten the information, the tech has done his diagnosis, when I call back, I don't have to say, okay, so you need 2 rear shocks in your car. It's going to be $427. I can say, hey, great news. The playground trip that you're taking this weekend, there's not going to be any more noise in that car. We're going to get that taken care of today for you. Here's how we're going to do that. Right? Now I'm understanding my customer. I'm taking care of my customer's actual needs. Right? The car is just, so to speak, a vehicle to get him here and there.
Right.
Doesn't matter whether it's his car, a golf cart, or a wheelbarrow. He just wants it to get from one place to another, and just wants it to get his family there safely. So you just got to learn to pay attention to your customers.
That's pretty fascinating.
It is. With what I heard you just say, it's one of those things that we talk about this in the mastermind too. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Absolutely.
And I believe it's about relationships. I believe people want to be led. I believe people want to grow. I think it's important to understand, because we're dealing with people. What is their why? What motivates them and drives them? And if I heard you correctly, it's different for everybody. And that's where you deal with them, is where they're at. Did I hear that right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And even within the personality styles, right? Depending on where you are in your day is going to change the way that you are. Somebody who might come in the morning and be happy-go-lucky and chatting your ear off about things might be the same customer that when they reach out to you in the afternoon is really angry and yelling at you, right? Because that's their backup style. So something happened during their day to push them into their backup style. And you need to understand that about the customer, right? So it's not like, geez, why is this guy so mad? Now it's again, understanding the human being and going, okay, how can I work with that backup style, right? What buttons do I need to push to be able to still work with him and get the information through in the style that he's in right now? It's all relationships. It's all human beings. It's all about lifetime value, not the one-time sale, right?
Yeah.
And I can teach any advisor how to sell a $4,000 job.
Right.
But that's the last time you'll see that customer.
Yep.
They're not coming back.
Right. No, I think it was 1995 or 96. I was managing a store, and I also did this as I was moving through the ranks, but I'd work the service drive. That was real important to me, getting to know the service advisors and that side of the business. So I'd be out there an hour before work in the service drive meeting. And a customer came in like that one time, and I learned something back then that I've carried with me today and use it as often as I can. When someone's upset, listen to them.
Yes.
And as they're venting, listen to little cues, nod your head, acknowledge them, maintain eye contact to let them know the empathy and that you're listening, right? Because that's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they appear to pause or take a breath, say, I apologize. Can you forgive me? Those are 6 of the most powerful words in the English vocabulary. And then after that, he shut up. And that customer just completely did a 180 and was apologetic for the tone and the anger and all that kind of stuff. And then they got through it and, resolved the issue, which was a simple one to begin with.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about learning the human being on the other side of you. Right. Understanding how to deal with that person. It's something that we do in our everyday life anyways. Right. But once you start doing, what's that?
Or we should be doing,
yes.
With our spouse.
Well, yeah. So some are successful at it, some not so successful.
Right.
You can learn some things from the psychology side of things to really just accelerate where you're going. You need that relationship both on your internal customers, your team that you're working with, as well as your external customers that are coming in to purchase something from you. And you can take it outside, like you just said, Charity, into your relationships.
Yeah.
It's all things that can help you in every area of your life.
Very true. And other industries as well, I would assume.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I know David O'Brien, phenomenal guy. And the team that you have acquired there is like, in my opinion, the best of the best, because it's a mix of not only being experts in your field, but also understanding relationships and that style. And so you work with variable as well as fixed. Is that correct?
Yeah, we take the whole gamut, the whole dealership, fixed, variable, BDC, parts, whatever, because like we've talked about, right? It's relationships, it's people. And there's not a department in a dealership that does not deal with people.
That's right.
So every single department, we're happy to come in and help increase your relationship skills, your ability to deal with your internal and external customers. If you have process problems, certainly we have enough experience on this team that we can come in and help with your processes also. Sure. But that's not our main focus. We want to be able to work within the process that you have that's already working to just skill up your people, because that's something that is truly scalable.
That's awesome.
Really, way cool.
So from the viewer perspective, Dave, FixedOPS Mastermind kind of stopped for a while and that's transitioned. How would you describe it now that it's sort of morphed into Quantum?
Yeah. So from the podcast side of it, it definitely did stop for a few months. It's funny because I came into Quantum with doing vision and values, doing the mastermind, doing the podcast, and running stores full time. And I was like, wow, I'm going to have so much time on my hands. I'm not going to know what to do.
Yeah.
That didn't pan out.
Right.
So in the startup world, you wear a lot of different hats. So
Yes.
The podcast was the thing that kind of faded away, and I brought that back, and I get really exhilarated doing the podcast. It's so great to be able to talk to all the different people that you talk to and find out the things that they know, that again, you can bring to other people to help them. Right.
Yeah.
And it's the great thing about podcasts is they're free for everybody. Right. So it's free information that you're bringing out to people.
Yeah.
As far as the Mastermind Leaders Group, our Tuesday night sessions continue, but we are also working on doing some sessions during the day in the week where we will build it out more on Napoleon Hill's mastermind theory of more than, take two minds together and you don't get two minds, you get a what amounts to a third mind in the room. Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to take that and put that into practice. We'll have things for us to work on each week, break out into different groups and come up with some incredible ideas that we can all pool together, figure out what the ones that we want to execute on are, and put some action plans together to start making some meaningful change within this industry by using the collective knowledge of all the incredibly smart people that are out there.
Yeah, that's for sure. We've just started this podcast about 2 months ago, Russell.
Yeah, about that.
And we've already had several guests on that are just very brilliant in what they do. They have their own perspectives that are truly unique. And same with you, of course. So what do you think makes a good podcast or a good show?
So for me, I really like the conversational style, just like you guys are doing. We're just sitting here having a talk, and it kind of goes wherever it goes, right? Certainly, you have your points on every podcast that you want to get to and want to understand more. But just having a conversation with someone, just like you would in real life, for me, tends to bring out better points than if I said, okay, I'm only going to ask these 10 questions of my guest, right? Because now I've kind of pigeonholed my guest and not let them really go where their expertise or their mind wants to take them. So the other thing is,
it kind of screws up your whole show if you're taking them in this direction and they don't want to go there.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that I love about the FixedOPS Mastermind podcast is I didn't keep it to just FixedOPS people. Right. Yeah. We had people from, I had an astrologer on there. Right. So
oh, wow.
we had some really different things, some different points of views. And maybe it's an episode you listen to and go, yeah, this wasn't for me, but maybe somebody else listens to it and picks something else up from it. We have, Russell, she was a guest on the Mastermind Leaders Group last year, but Lauren Johnson, the former mental conditioning coach for the New York Yankees.
I was on that. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's booked for an appearance on the podcast. That'll be an amazing one. So obviously she's not in the fixed ops industry, but she's in the performance industry. Yeah. Right. And she's there about building better mental performance. So that's something that everybody can use.
Yes.
So that's what I really like. I like the conversations that are just that. They're conversations. We talk about whatever we talk about. If you happen to talk about cars, great. If we talk about lettuce, that's fine too.
Right. I like that style as well.
Well, I don't know about you, but I don't particularly care talking about lettuce. I get your drift.
No, I don't know where that came from.
Lauren, that was her name, Lauren Johnson, right?
Yes. Yep.
So I was just going over because I take a lot of notes. I have this legal pad that, yellow is my color for that. And I made a note about the 3-foot rule that she spoke about that day. Yes. And I still have it and review it about, what I can see, what I can listen to and how I'm feeling in that moment, et very powerful stuff. That's what I love about the mastermind. You had you got manufacturers, you got fixed op directors, you got general managers, you have owners, you have vendors on there, etc. So you get it's a great ping and pong. Charity, that was a great question about what makes a good podcast or a good
Mhm.
episode, etc.
I guess my next question, Dave, would be, you're a very natural interviewer. It doesn't come naturally for a lot of people. Where do you think that comes from? From your small town roots?
Yeah, I will tell you that if you talk to most people that knew me before I started doing this, they would go, no, I don't think Dave's going to be the guy who's going to be behind the camera
Really?
or on a microphone. I am a very introverted person. This, for whatever reason, came natural when I started doing it. I can't tell you where that came from. I'm more comfortable doing this than I am standing in front of a room full of people.
Yeah.
That I do not enjoy doing. I'm working
That's
on
tricky,
it.
isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm definitely not there. Dave O'Brien will attest to that. But with this, this just feels so natural and comes easily. And I wish I could tell you where it came from, but nobody would have thought that Dave Foy would be doing this if they talked to me 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, Charity and I consider you a natural, and I think everybody else does too. You just have an aura, a way, your body language, your tone, voice inflection, all that. It just, it's real.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you have a lot
Shake.
to share. You have a
Yeah, you
lot to
do.
share from your experience and automotive, and the topics are very interesting.
They are. I think you're actually pioneering your way in your current the quantum role there. I think your vision is paving the way for where everything's going to change. There's still those people that come in and then have their hand out at the end, but I think people are starting to realize that just doesn't really work anymore. You're not really getting, it's not growing your people at all. Teach them the road to the sale. No, find out what motivates them so they're passionate about wanting to learn and hang on to it and practice those things over and over and over again after you leave, right? Get outside of their comfort zones.
Right. Yeah. You can still have your hand out, right? But it should be a handout to pull somebody up, not a handout to get something.
Well said. Well said. We're just getting started in 2022. NADA was kind of the kickoff for that, So what goals does Dave Foy have for 2022? What would you like to accomplish?
So first goal is what I talked about with the new mastermind sessions. That's my first goal for 2022 is to get that set up, get that structured so that we are out there providing the value to the fixed ops community, or not even just the fixed ops community. I feel at times like I'm pigeonholed with my fixed ops mastermind moniker on there, because it's really about the leadership, right? In a dealership, the general manager is up above both fixed and variable.
Right.
So certainly the general managers are welcome within the mastermind community and provide some great feedback, because there are a lot of lessons we can learn from the variable side that we can pull into the fixed side to help each other. That's my first goal. Second goal would be certainly increasing the awareness of Quantum 5. We're out there. We feel like we're doing good work, but we're also fighting a little bit of a battle because it's new to people, right? That sustainment model, which they may need, they don't necessarily know that they need it or even understand what it is. So that's my second goal is to make sure I'm out there as an evangelist for Quantum 5, spreading that word and helping people understand what we do.
Well, I'm sure you're going to help a lot in that process.
Yeah, and we will help you. Let me tell you, Charity, she's amazing at what she does. At making people aware of things or co-branding, you name it, whatever it is.
Happy to help.
People notice that kind of stuff. If there's any way we can help. I know this. An opportunity is not an opportunity when everybody thinks it is an opportunity. They've already missed it. So you're pioneering a whole new way. Like I said earlier, paradigm shift. Everything is going to change with what you're doing. It's just going to take people a little while to wake up and smell the roses. But if they want to make it in this business long-term and retain their people, because let's face it, the turnover costs way more than it does to invest in the people you have now. And the old way of doing it is just showing them how to do this or say this thing or that thing.
Yep.
Those things are obviously still applicable, but it's about why they're doing it, the relationship, finding out what drives them, because it's not about money. Not everything's about money. We've all had probably, I mean, I've worked in jobs where I made a lot of damn money, and I got to tell you what, I was a miserable person.
Yeah.
I was a miserable person. And at the end, even though it started out that way, I ended up letting it go because it wasn't about the money. My family was suffering.
Right.
My health was suffering.
Yes. Been there too.
Right. So I think what you guys are doing are just, I mean, I get goosebumps just thinking, because I know, and I read all your stuff. I know you, I know Sarah, and what's the new guy I just met?
Brendan.
No, Brendan. I know Brendan, great guy. But there's somebody else.
Grady.
Grady, yeah. Phenomenal guy, man.
Yes.
I mean, this is your team. This is who you work with every day, and it's exciting. It really is.
Grady is, we talked about this at NADA. I had met Grady 2 other times briefly, in Scottsdale. And this was the first time we actually got to really spend any time with each other. He's one of those people that I met, and I feel like I've known him for 30 years. It's amazing. I am so grateful to be able to work with this team. It is, I affectionately call it a bunch of weirdos that have come together to do some great things. And certainly grateful to both of you. You have helped with the mastermind and been supporters all along. When there was literally nothing in it for you, right? So that speaks volumes to the people that you are.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I know whether it be you or SDL or other venues that I'm in, I almost, it's about just about every time I take notes, and I like to be involved. I'm a variable guy. Okay. I know enough about fixed ops to be dangerous, hours, effective labor rates, all that kind of stuff. But people I do know. And I know that I've seen a lot of people pop in and leave, and they're missing it. They're vendors. A lot of them are. And I think they were looking for something. I'm going to leave it alone for just a minute. And when they realize it's not there, or whatever the reason is, or maybe they feel uncomfortable because their actions aren't matching their words, but I eat it up. I've learned so much from the mastermind and from the regulars that you have on there. And I found something also different. Now, either you or somebody else in the mastermind, particularly from a vendor standpoint, once again, I've learned a whole lot, but fixed ops people are different than variable people, and they just don't take to you immediately. They got to see that you're real and that kind of stuff. And they're hard to really get to know. But once they know you, so many doors have opened up for Charity and I and our company, because of the people like you and the guests that you have, that I feel like I'm part of the family. And some of them I met, at NADA, but still equally as many that I did not meet, but hope to Sunday. So we're really excited about what you're doing. It's really, and everybody should tune in. So do you know when the day thing is going to start happening, or?
It should be within a month. We will be ready to launch that out there, and it might be a little sooner than that, but probably a month. I want to make sure that it's right, that it's all structured properly, and that we can make this a rousing success when we launch it. Yeah. So what we talked about a little bit earlier with the mastermind and have increasing some day sessions where we can use the actual mastermind principle and put some people in rooms together to come up with some incredible ideas for the industry.
Yeah. And I think what'll happen is, Charity, you'll have different people in the day that wouldn't otherwise be there at night, but those people during the day maybe don't even know about the Tuesday night thing. So I think both have a potential to actually build, particularly at different times. I think it's gonna be really huge. If there's anything we can do, if there's anything I can do, whatever, just let us know, and we'll certainly be there for that.
Same here.
Appreciate that. Grateful to both of you. And Russell, you were talking about being in the room and being part of it, and the fixed ops community kind of standing back a little bit and then
Yeah.
accepting people. You've talked about it before with being either a net giver or a net taker, right? Within quantum, we talk about making relationship deposits or relationship withdrawals, right? And you are definitely a guy who makes way more deposits than you make withdrawals. And that's what I think that's what you see when you see people come into the mastermind and then don't stay. Those are the people who are the net takers, right?
Yep.
They went in there, they were hoping to either they were a vendor hoping to nail down they thought they were walking into a room of a bunch of fixed ops directors where they could just give a pitch and maybe land a couple of clients, or they were looking for the quick and easy answer to a problem. And it's not the silver bullet mastermind, right? It's the fixed ops mastermind.
I love that. Not the silver bullet. You're absolutely right. It is all about deposits.
Yeah.
And if you make enough, when it's time to make a withdrawal, there's a lot of people that are on the other side that won't even question it. I agree. That's a philosophy I learned a long time ago when I got clean and sober. So let me ask you this. What is Dave Foy most proud of in his career? Is there any one thing that stands out? I know that's kind of putting you on the spot.
No, actually I can answer that easily.
Great.
The one it's I'll put it in a group of one thing, but it's several people, and it's people who have worked for me, with me, that have gone to be from technicians to advisors to managers to directors. That's what I'm most proud of. The people that took the initiative and wanted to better their careers and took the knowledge that I was offering and used it to accelerate their careers up. That is, to me, that's what it's all about. Is we talked about reaching your hand out to pull people up.
Yep.
That's what it's all about. Just keep helping people, and the more people you help, the more successful you will be. So,
Dave, I don't think most people really understand that. I honestly don't. I didn't understand it for the longest. When I get into my selfish, self-seeking, self-centered mode, I'll end up getting depressed, or why is me, or getting in the comparison trap, which is a horrible thing. Either comparing myself to somebody else, or even comparing myself to me, where I was, where I should be going, what I'm doing now, etc. I find that to get out of my head, I start working with other people. When I start working with, listening to other people, it's amazing how things just kind of aren't that big a deal anymore.
It really is.
And it is. It's about help. Zig Ziglar's philosophy: if you help enough other people get what they want, you're going to get what you want. So it's important that whatever you have, that universal law, that it's better to give than to receive. That's so true, because you can't keep it unless you give it away. It's amazing how that works. It's like gravity. Don't know exactly why, but I do know enough about gravity. We all do. You're going up, you're coming down. Now, you may have momentary because of lift and thrust and science and all that kind of stuff, but you're still coming down.
Sooner or later.
That's right. Absolutely. So
that's awesome.
Well, we've had a few people on that we've asked that question, Dave, and they're good people when they have an answer that's very similar to that. Yeah. That's always helping out their team, or watching people grow, or seeing people meet their goals that really drive their success and their career.
Absolutely. Is there anything, Dave, that we missed or that you would like to share? Because you know how charity is. There's going to be a plethora of short takes all over the place. And you know what? They get a lot of views. People will watch a 50-second to a 2-minute take instead of the whole thing, although there's people that'll watch that too. But it just, it's great. And we want to promote you. We love you, and we want to help you out any way we possibly can. So if there's anything you want to share, please share it.
I appreciate that. I think I've shared everything here. The mastermind. I'd be happy to have anybody come and join our group, and join the new groups that'll be coming shortly. Quantum 5.ai. Come and check us out. We are thrilled to welcome more people into the community. And that's what we're building this whole thing around, is the idea of community, and that learning doesn't have to be work. It can be fun. It can be
Yes.
enjoyable. And certainly it can be beneficial. So grateful again to both of you and to FixedOPS Marketing, everybody who was part of it, for helping me along the way, along my journey. None of that goes unnoticed.
Thank you very much.
And Dave, how can people get a hold of you if they need to?
So my cell phone is 774-696-4239. Email is dave@quantum5.ai.
Wonderful.
Thank you. I think we're going to do, I think what Charity has done with this and promoting this and the way she promotes it, there's going to get a lot of eyeballs at different times, whether it be LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. So anything we can do to help Dave Foy and move the needle and spread the love, because that's what you're doing. You're spreading the knowledge and the love of what it takes to have balance in someone's life. Yeah, you can make money and get good at your career, but also understand who you are and what makes you tick. And I think you've helped bring that to a lot of people in this industry. So thank you very much. And thank everybody else out there watching. This is another WTF episode. That's what the FixedOPS Marketing. And Charity, thank you so much. And Dave, thank you once again. And be sure and watch all the episodes. Follow us, like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. Look forward to the next one. And thank you all very much. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you so much, Charity and Rusty. It's been great.
Thank you.
All right.